NomNomNation, it's a social enterprise, and our goal is to help end hunger in America. That's our company mission. And basically, we are a competitive food donation app to allow for friendly competition, to also raise more monetary donations for food banks, which allows food banks to be able to buy way more food because they buy things in bulk and wholesale prices that you and I can't get at the grocery store. So that's kind of, we're basically a fundraising service for food banks. Well, we actually started the idea at Miami's first startup weekend back in February of 2012. And, the original idea was to scan UPC codes, which are barcodes on, all food items. And then we found out we had to pivot from that initial concept because getting into point of sale systems for a Kroger is impossible. And so, we eventually decided to just make it really, really easy, simple, like stupid simple for somebody to be able to, connect with their local food bank. They can see what's needed most. They can create essentially what we call a food race, which is basically a mobile food drive. And so that was kind of the whole purpose, was to make it really, really easy, really simple for somebody to donate food and run a food drive from their phone. As far as education, I went through Miami's Pharma School of Business, and actually had a co-major in entrepreneurship and then environmental principles and practices. I used to give hockey lessons growing up, and so I had to set up my own marketing stand, my own flyers, my own business cards. So I've always enjoyed doing kind of self-motivated entrepreneurial endeavors. I would say probably the biggest hurdle that we have is we're in this new kind of social enterprise space, and so I tend to lean towards social entrepreneurship. That's what I like a lot. And so we're a for-profit company, and our revenue stream is really lean. We just 5% of the amount raised is essentially our cost of service for the food banks. So if we help raise them $100, we get $5 of the 100. Mm-hmm. And so it's been a little bit difficult trying to seek investment, to seek monetary funding, seed capital. It's been really, really difficult. But that's probably the most difficult thing, is being a for-profit company, but also having a really strong social mission. And it's, people have been like, well, you guys are a nonprofit. And I'm like, no, we're actually, a for-profit fundraising service for the food banks, help raise them more money. And some people get it, some people don't. So it's I'd say it's been a pretty strong challenge so far. Well, economically, I think the hunger problem obviously is brutal. It's really sad and tragic in our country. It's affects 50 million people. It's 1 in 6 Americans who are living in food insecurity, which means they don't know where their next meal is coming from. And so I think economically speaking, the more funds that we can help, get moved towards ending hunger, towards what the food banks do, which they do an incredible amount of work. And as far as nonprofits go, they're some of the most efficient nonprofits I've seen. Like, every almost 96 cents of every dollar is going towards food. And so, we really kind of look at ourselves as an economic catalyst, and we want to, allow more monetary donations to flow to the food banks so they can make a greater impact on this really, really terrible social problem in our country. So, so there's the double bottom line is something that we really believe in. There's being a profit, bottom line, but also the social bottom line. And so, they obviously run hand in hand.
So it's great to talk with Brent about his entrepreneurial experience. Tying some of it back into our class content, Brent mentioned that NomNom pivoted away from the point of sale system at Kroger. We talked a lot about how entrepreneurs often will pivot early in these stages of their development ideas. I also really like that NomNom kind of believes in that double bottom line where they have a social mission as well. I feel like in this day of age with certain corporations that are very profit motivated. It's kind of rare to find. Overall, it was very evident that Brent knew a lot about the operations of accredited food banks. I got to speak a little bit off the record after the interview about some of the entrepreneurial ideas that he has. I think a lot of these ideas are very feasible in the future, so it'll be very interesting to see how these ideas progress as he gets further along in his career.